when we think about how consumers are engaging digitally, the mobile device is essentially the remote control. That is where all the things are happening. The majority of our users are coming on mobile devices, and specifically smartphones today have become essentially the primary interface that is driving a lot of engagement. I always like to tell the story about the day that my maid joined us at home, and the first thing she said to us was, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Okay? And for me, that is telling in terms of it is no longer elite, it's no longer special. They're all connected, they're on Facebook, they're on WhatsApp, and I think it really is the reality that we have. Secondly, when you think about the cohorts, the people who actually make up the consumers on these devices, you see that they fall into the categories that are sort of under 25 and the 25 to the 34. And this is data coming from Google. So what you start to understand there is that really the largest constituency or cohorts of digital consumers in this country are sitting within that segment, also known as Generation Z, as well as the millennials. Fiber to the home is exploding. The other day I was driving home on Waiyaki Way and I saw a huge billboard saying Safaricom is now available in Uthiru. If you guys know what's up, you'd think probably 4 or 5 years ago, Uthiru is the last place you'd get a fiber connection in your home from Safaricom. And it means, again, we're sort of getting this devolution of connectivity. It's getting down to the levels where, suddenly you don't really think about, having to use your bundles all the time. You can go home and you're always connected. Consumption trends. We're no longer watching TV. How many of you guys actually go home at 7 or 8 o'clock and turn on the TV to watch the news? We get our news on social media, right? We get it from WhatsApp forwards. And that's the reality. We're spending more time on digital platforms, specifically our smartphones and even TV. This, for me, was a landmark moment when Telkom decided to launch free WhatsApp. Again, Mark has talked about it. This is probably the most important social network in the country. People are using this more than even Facebook. Everyone is there. So when you have it for free, what does that mean? Consumer behavior changes. We stop thinking about the data on our phone, and we start thinking about the conversations and the experiences we're having on our mobile devices. Let's keep going. Uber has 363,000 users and over 5,000 drivers in Nairobi. I always like to talk about my former taxi driver known as Karanja. You know the guy used to tell you that I'm 5 minutes away and he was an hour away? And you'll be waiting and losing your business opportunity because of that guy? The last time I spoke to Karanja 2 years ago, he was asking me to give him a loan because his business was struggling. This is the nature of disruption. And today we don't think twice about it. We push the button, we have a cab in 2 minutes, right? That, again, is telling us something. Consumer behavior for instant gratification in Kenya is now incredible. As a customer-focused business, Uber is your new benchmark. You need to be thinking how efficient and user-friendly this is when you think about how your business operates. At home, I don't have terrestrial TV. Everything I have in the house comes through a fiber connection. I do not have regular TV in the house. And this is how I watch the entire World Cup down to the last game, in the house and on the mobile device. Now, if there's anything to look at, you only start to imagine what the future would look like when it comes to consumers consuming football and digital content. This is the future. This is coming. And I think right now Amazon and a few other international companies have actually gotten rights to the UK to stream live games. Not all the games, but that's coming. In the next 2 to 3 years, this will be normal. So let's talk about customer journeys, right? A customer is going to engage you digitally severally through different channels in different ways. They could come through your digital advertising. They saw an ad on Facebook or Google. It could be that they were on a mobile app and they experienced your ad. They could have been on your corporate website, your email marketing, or even your social media. They'll engage with your platforms. They'll consume your digital content. An offline or online transaction may happen. And ultimately, it leads to a conversion. But at the end of that conversion, also you want to think about retention. After you've brought the customer in, how do we retain them? How do we increase the transactions? So what works? Yeah, when you think about digital experience and digital user experience in terms of what works, it's about, first of all, listening to get the right ideas and insights from your customers as well as prospective customers. It's about creating content which sort of sparks and triggers conversations with them. Creativity with diverse conversations and customers. So it's not just about selling your product, but also giving them tips, pointers, insights, education, stuff that they actually found useful. Connecting with key voices and influencers. I cannot emphasize again and again, influencers are going to be huge for customer experience in the next few years. Because you know what, you can't buy yourself through to Google all the way to the top anymore. You need to start thinking about how influencers can actually help your brand succeed. It's also about looking at all the channels and thinking about how to keep connections and conversations fresh and interesting. For instance, your website needs to be responsive. It's still shocking in Kenya that many companies haven't gone to the point where their websites work across all devices in a responsive manner. it gets more interesting. Last week, Google changed their procedures for Chrome so that if your site does not have an SSL certificate, you might have seen something called HTTPS, where there's a certificate that makes sure the website is secure. It puts a notice there saying this site is not secure. So as a consumer, if you go there and you're looking at this company and it's saying this is not secure, are you going to do business with that organization? And I think 60% of the internet today uses what? Chrome. So basically, every company today having a website in the country, from a customer experience perspective, had better have an SSL certificate and be HTTPS compliant if you're going to engage, not to mention mobile responsive. Secondly, conversion rate optimization. The majority of websites you come across are not designed for conversion. It'll give you a long company profile, and then there's no call to action to do something specific. So conversion rate optimization is a science of making sure that people actually take the desired action. Or rather, as you say, don't make me think, okay? Drive the user to a specific action on your web pages, on your landing pages for campaigns, getting them to take the right action. If you don't do this, potentially you're leaving millions of shillings on the table. It used to be 8 seconds, guys. With the millennials and the Generation Z, you now have exactly 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, if that visual or that creative has not created the right emotion in me to take the desired action or to watch the rest of the video, that customer or potential customer is lost. So you need to think about snackable, instantly appealing, instantly compelling content that actually gets people to engage with your brand.